We all experience suffering in our lives. It's a universal part of the human experience. From heartbreak and loss to the constant pressures of daily life, suffering is something none of us can fully escape. But while it's common, many of us still struggle to accept it. We often look for ways to avoid or deny our pain, but perhaps the question we should be asking is, what can we learn from it? Buddha, one of history's most profound spiritual teachers, dedicated his life to understanding suffering. Born as Siddhartha Gautama into a life of luxury, he renounced his wealth and privileges to seek the truth about human suffering. His journey and eventual enlightenment led him to develop teachings that remain relevant even today, offering a path toward inner peace. The Four Noble Truths form the foundation of Buddha's approach to suffering. They reveal a way of seeing and understanding suffering, its causes, and, most importantly, the steps we can take to alleviate it. In our modern world, filled with endless distractions, pressures to succeed, and social comparisons, Buddha's teachings serve as a guide to help us address suffering in a meaningful way. Through these teachings, we can find solace and wisdom that lead to a balanced, fulfilling life. Understanding the nature of suffering. Dukkha. The first truth Buddha shared is the truth of suffering, or dukkha. At its core, dukkha represents the dissatisfaction and unease that are inherent in life. We encounter suffering in countless forms, from the pain of physical illness to the emotional turmoil of losing someone we love. Buddha's message isn't to discourage us, but to help us recognize that suffering is a natural part of existence. In modern life, suffering takes on many faces. It might be the exhaustion we feel from long work hours, the frustration of unfulfilled dreams, or the disappointment of a broken relationship. We're often conditioned to seek happiness relentlessly, and as a result, we become disillusioned when life doesn't meet our expectations. Buddha's insight teaches us that suffering is inevitable, it's a natural ebb and flow of life. Recognizing this can be liberating because it allows us to approach life with a greater sense of acceptance. But dukkha extends beyond the obvious moments of pain. It encompasses subtle forms of dissatisfaction, such as feelings of inadequacy, boredom, or restlessness. These experiences remind us that life's pleasures are fleeting. By acknowledging this truth, we can stop chasing happiness outside ourselves and begin exploring our inner world, where peace can truly be found. The root cause of suffering, craving and attachment, samudaya. If suffering is unavoidable, what causes it? Buddha identified the root cause of suffering as samudaya, which translates to craving or attachment. It is our unrelenting desire for things to be a certain way, our tendency to cling to people, objects, or experiences that we think will bring us happiness that perpetuates our suffering. This attachment takes many forms. We crave material possessions, wealth, power, and success. We seek pleasure through relationships or the approval of others, hoping it will fill the void inside us. Yet, as Buddha pointed out, all things are impermanent. When we cling to impermanent things, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Imagine someone who spends their life in pursuit of status or wealth, only to find that these external achievements do not bring lasting fulfillment. Buddha called these cravings the three poisons: craving, aversion, and ignorance. Craving pulls us toward things, aversion pushes us away from things we dislike, and ignorance keeps us in a state of misunderstanding about life's true nature. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded by messages that tell us we need more success, more beauty, more possessions to be happy. But this craving becomes a never-ending cycle. When we get what we want, it brings temporary satisfaction, but soon the feeling fades and we're left wanting more. Buddha's teachings invite us to examine our desires and question whether they bring genuine contentment or simply create more longing. Realizing this is the first step toward liberating ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Letting go of craving, the path to inner peace. Nirodha. Buddha's third noble truth, Nirodha, offers hope. It states that we can end suffering by letting go of craving and attachment. This doesn't mean we need to renounce all worldly pleasures or live without desires, but rather that we should practice non-attachment, enjoying life's experiences without clinging to them or allowing them to control us. Imagine someone who has spent years trying to quit a harmful habit. They know the habit causes them suffering, but they can't seem to let go of it. Buddha's teachings suggest that the way to end suffering is by understanding the nature of our cravings, recognizing how they trap us, and gradually releasing our hold on them. By doing so, we create space for peace and freedom. This path is not easy. It requires self-reflection and discipline. But every step we take towards letting go of unhealthy attachments brings us closer to a state of inner tranquility. When we understand that nothing external can provide lasting happiness, we stop searching for fulfillment in the wrong places. Instead, we cultivate a sense of contentment from within, rooted in acceptance and self-awareness. The Eightfold Path, a guide to living wisely and compassionately. Magga. The fourth noble truth is Buddha's prescription for ending suffering. The Eightfold Path. It is a practical guide to living a balanced, ethical, and mindful life, offering steps that lead us away from craving and closer to inner peace. The Eightfold Path is divided into three main areas: wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Wisdom, right view and right intention. Right view is about understanding the nature of reality, accepting the Four Noble Truths, and seeing life as it truly is. Right intention involves setting intentions that are free from selfish desires, grounded in compassion and kindness. Ethical conduct, right speech, right action, right livelihood. Right speech emphasizes truthful, kind, and constructive communication. Right action calls for us to act ethically and avoid causing harm to others. Right livelihood involves choosing a career or means of making a living that aligns with our values and does not exploit or harm others. Mental discipline, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Right effort is about cultivating positive qualities and avoiding harmful behaviors. Right mindfulness teaches us to be present in each moment, aware of our thoughts and actions. Right concentration involves meditation and mental focus, helping us quiet the mind and reach deeper insights. Each element of the Eightfold Path supports the others, forming a comprehensive approach to life. By practicing these principles, we gradually develop wisdom, compassion, and mental clarity, moving closer to a state of inner peace and happiness. Walking the middle path, finding balance in life. Buddha emphasized the importance of the middle path, which means avoiding extremes. Rather than indulging in excess or denying ourselves entirely, the middle path encourages balance and moderation. This principle is especially relevant in today's world, where we're often pulled between overindulgence and self-denial. Consider how we often fall into extremes, working tirelessly to achieve career success at the expense of our health, or indulging in temporary pleasures that leave us feeling empty. The middle path teaches us that balance is the key to lasting fulfillment. It reminds us that we don't need to abandon our goals or desires, but should approach them with mindfulness and self-awareness. Living the middle path doesn't mean avoiding challenges or difficulties. It's about understanding our limits, knowing when to push forward and when to step back. By practicing moderation, we find greater harmony and avoid the pitfalls of excess and deprivation. Applying Buddha's teachings in today's world. In the fast-paced world we live in, Buddha's teachings provide a much-needed antidote to stress, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. Practicing mindfulness, cultivating compassion, and letting go of attachments can help us navigate modern challenges with greater ease. For example, mindfulness can help us manage work-related stress. By being fully present, we're able to approach tasks calmly and with focus, reducing the overwhelming feeling of being too busy. Letting go of attachment allows us to enjoy relationships and experiences without feeling the need to control them or fearing their loss. The Eightfold Path is not a quick fix, it's a lifelong journey. But with practice, it becomes a source of strength, helping us stay grounded and centered, no matter what life brings. Even a few small changes, like practicing mindful breathing, making compassionate choices, or setting healthy boundaries, can lead to a noticeable difference in our mental and emotional well-being. Conclusion: lessons for a fulfilling life. In Buddha's teachings, we find timeless wisdom for understanding and transcending suffering. The Four Noble Truths remind us that suffering is an inevitable part of life, caused by our attachments and cravings. But by following the Eightfold Path, we can find a way out of this cycle, creating a life filled with peace, compassion, and balance. Reflecting on these teachings encourages us to question what truly brings us happiness. When we let go of superficial desires, we open ourselves to a deeper, more lasting contentment. Practicing the middle path, we discover that true happiness lies not in avoiding challenges, but in embracing them with a calm and open heart. So as we go about our lives, let us remember Buddha's guidance. May we approach each day with mindfulness, compassion, and a commitment to finding inner peace. In doing so, we not only alleviate our own suffering, but also contribute to a world that's kinder, wiser, and more connected.